Hi, and welcome to the September episode of More or Less. I'm Peggy.
And I'm Cody, and this is brought to you by Baker Orthotics and Prosthetics. We are here to find the right solution to fit your needs. So give us a call today, 817-332-7313, and we can patch you through to any area in Texas. So today we are
Ah,
talking about...
funding options for prosthetic devices.
Yay!
It is it's September,
Mhm.
which if you have been in the community for more than a year, then you know that September is when the Challenged Athletes Foundation annual grant is released. So grant applications are live now. So that's why we wanted to talk about this topic. Um, we'll go into challenged athletes in a little bit more depth, but that is one funding source, but there are a lot of other funding sources as well.
Yes, there are charitable organizations, there are state-run agencies. There's a whole plethora of funding sources out there. So we're not going to cover everything today, just to give that brief caveat, because there is so much.
Which
Once
is a good
you
thing.
Right. It is a good thing, uh, but please do not expect this episode to be exhaustive in education. So we'll try to point you in the right direction. Um, that main direction being toward our Whole Person Network, which is our exclusive social media platform where you can find a whole host of information, resources, and a community of people living with limb loss and limb difference who can also share with you their experiences in and through all of these other funding sources, etc. So much more available there than I could even talk about right now. So get on Whole Person today.
Nice segue. I like that. So, Challenged Athletes, they are a nonprofit based out of California, but they serve the entire country. And they provide different sporting clinics and events and activities throughout the year. And they also fund annual grants to provide adaptive sporting equipment to get people with disabilities back out there and active again. Um, there's a big misconception, something that you actually taught me this year, Cody, that I think everybody else might be interested in, and that is that the Challenged Athletes Foundation's OSER grant, which is the grant for the running blades, they actually accept applications all year long.
Yes, and that's new.
That's
That's a
new.
new
Okay.
change. Yes, that's a new
That
change.
that is a very exciting change because
Yes.
I every year people contact me about, I really want to blade, especially at the beginning of the year, right? Because that's when everybody, I'm going to get in shape, I'm going to start running, I'm going to, do whatever, going to hit that gym, and that's when they start thinking, oh, I don't have what I need to be able to do that. So they start looking, and challenged athletes, when you think of adaptive sporting equipment or running blade grants, I think most people's mind goes to challenged athletes. Before, you could only apply during the grant cycle, and when you miss that window, you'd have to wait for another year. Now, if you need a running blade or you want to apply for one, you can apply year round, and they're making those awards throughout the year.
Yep, and it's roughly I think a 2 to 3 week turnaround time on an answer to the grant. Once you've turned in the application, you need to work with your prosthetist and a physician to get that paperwork filled out. So please be aware that it is a process. Um, but again, that's also only for the running blades. They do provide other sporting equipment, recreational type things like I've seen Hoyer lifts for the pool, hand cycles, you name it, all kinds of things. Those are provided during the September to November grant cycle. And they'll be taking those grants right now for that type of equipment. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And it's a fabulous organization. So if you're looking for adaptive sporting equipment or, want to try to go for one of the running blade grants, Challenged Athletes Foundation, we'll go ahead and put a link in the description of this video. but we really encourage you to go ahead and get your application filled out. Get it filled out early. The grants tend to get very time moves very quickly, and there is some paperwork that the prosthetist has to fill out. So you really don't want to be doing things last minute, saying, "Hey, this closes tomorrow. Do
Yep.
this." So help everybody out. It's the beginning of September. It's a great time to just fill it out, put it in there, and see how it goes.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely.
So
And do remember on some of the items, they may have you cover a shipping charge, and that's about it. So just so you know, some of them are not 100% free. And they do make that known. You just have to make sure you read what you're applying for, read about what you're applying for. Okay.
very
So
good information.
yeah, and on top of that, you need to work with your prosthetist to make sure that they are on board with all the rules and stipulations surrounding the grant. Um, Again, the CAF provides the actual blade foot. The prosthetist is to be providing socket technology for you. So they will provide that, and they have to be clear on how that process works. So be in good communication with everybody involved so there's no hangups.
Awesome advice. Spoken
Yes.
from somebody who works in the weeds there, so I'm sure you've
Yeah.
seen a lot of it.
Yeah. I
So
didn't know I was supposed to do this or that, right? Yeah.
challenged athletes is definitely, I think, the organization that people think of most in terms of running blades. There are some other ones that do running blades. 50 Legs and Amputee Blade Runners are two other organizations. But Cody, not everybody wants a running blade. Some people really just want, a regular prosthesis to be able to walk, or, an arm to be able to help do different things. And there are grants for those as well. That health insurance only covers up to a certain amount, right? You always
Right.
have your copays, which can be exorbitant if you have one of the lower tier health insurance uh, plans. If
Mhm.
you're on like a bronze plan and not the gold plan, then your monthly payment is going to be lower, which is good. But when you need something, what you
Mhm.
have to pay is going to be higher. So if you're in that situation where you need a device, you need a new prosthesis, but you can't afford the copay, or your insurance lapse
Mhm.
somehow, or financially you're just not able to do it, there are different organizations to help with that, depending on where you live in the country. There's some regional ones. There are also some national ones. I know that the
Mhm.
Heather Abbott Foundation is a big one that they provide just regular. I don't know another word for just prosthetics. Could we just say a prosthesis instead of sport and regular,
Yes.
or okay.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll call them prosthetics and blades. How's that?
Oh, I like that. Very
Yeah.
good. Limbs for Life is another one. They do a lot of work internationally, and I know that that's how people really um, kind of view them as an international organization, where they take uh, donated componentry
Mhm.
and refurbish it, clean it up, and then send it to areas where individuals don't have access to the care. Some of the,
Mhm.
the countries, less developed countries, and things like that. But they also do serve individuals in the United States.
Mhm.
So if you are in one of those situations, limbsforlife.org might be able to really help you.
Yes. Remember, you are required to be a U.S. citizen to utilize Limbs for Life. And that being said, there is an organization that helps with individuals who do not have citizenship status. There's an organization called ROMP, or Range of Motion Project, and they can come alongside. Your prosthetist has to be, I don't remember the term technically, but like registered with them
Hmm.
to be able to provide their services. There is an amount that the Range of Motion Project, or ROMP, I'll call them ROMP now, they require the patient to provide just a certain level of funding. It's not a ton of money. It's nowhere near some of the deductible costs at all, but they will ask for that to help out. or romp is also an overseas endeavor. They are in Guatemala and other Central and South American countries. So just so you know, they're out there.
Um, Another one that provides different prosthetic devices would be Mending Limbs Organization. If you need a prosthesis, that's another good organization that you can try for. Um, let's see. I'm going through my list right now to see. Steps of Faith Foundation. They
Hmm.
also provide some financial assistance for different devices. And in terms of like government assistance and things like that, there are the private, which is the challenged athletes, which is the romp, which is the Limbs for Life. But there are also, you can try to go through your voc rehabilitation counselor to see if they can help you get a new device or help with some of that funding as well.
Hmm. Yep. In most states, not necessarily in Texas, although I'll explain this in just a second. In most states, Medicaid will help cover the cost of secondary insurances. In some states, they can be used primarily for prosthetic services. In Texas, they do not cover prosthetics as the primary. They will cover it as a secondary insurance, though. So be aware of that. Now, let me give that one also a caveat. If you're under 21 in the state of Texas, Medicaid will cover your prosthesis. Over the age of 21, you have to be on a waiver program and show 100% disability, I believe, or close to it, to be able to utilize Medicaid services. So there's some stipulations and rules. So please definitely look into that one
And if
closely.
you are in Texas and you find yourself in that situation, I encourage you to call Baker Orthotics and Prosthetics, and Cody will talk you through all of it.
Yes.
I know for kids, Shriners, right?
Yes.
Shriners is a great organization. I love Shriners.
Minors.
They will provide the prosthetic devices as well, and some of the children's hospitals also have regional grants.
Yeah.
I
And
checked, I can't find anything nationally, but the regional hospitals often have grants. In this area, they do.
yeah. And
So
in the Dallas Fort Worth area where I am located, we have two children's hospitals. So if you're listening in the area, Scottish Rite in Dallas and then Cook Children's in Fort Worth. They
awesome.
do have facilities within their systems to help with pediatric services.
So, and you know, if you're in a situation where you have your prosthesis, but you still need a wheelchair, or you need help with a ramp, or you need help with car modifications and things like that, we do have a wealth of resources on our Whole Person Network. I do want to mention that if you're looking for funding beyond just the device, I really do encourage everybody to get involved there, because we have so many resources there. It would take too long to kind of list everything in this
Hmm.
podcast.
Yeah. I'm going to go back to vocational rehabilitation services
Take it
and
away.
just touch on a couple things there. Uh, be your own advocate when you're speaking with a counselor from vocational rehabilitation, and know the ins and outs of their policies. And sometimes I have found that some of the counselors don't necessarily understand all of the policies regarding prosthetics because it's a little bit of a, I don't want to say niche, but it's not as utilized as some of the other services that they have. And when you get a good counselor who's very well versed in their policies, they can really help to drive, um, let's say, technology your way. And all of that, all of their services are based on vocational justifications. So you have to show that your job requires that you need certain levels of technology. If you need a microprocessor to be able to perform your job, they will fund it. They will help you do that. I know they will in the state of Texas, and they have. So that is a myth that has been busted for our local area. At least we've had people that say they don't cover that. They do. They do. You just have to justify everything. So remember that when you're speaking to that counselor. Hey, I have some rights here, but do understand your specific states rules and regulations when it comes to voc rehab use. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
And it does vary by state. So there's not one blanket piece of information that we can give out that would apply in all 50 states, unfortunately.
Correct.
Um, but, definitely check into it, ask questions. I think
Hmm.
when you find yourself in a situation where you're looking for funding,
Hmm.
whether it be for a grant for a device or a grant for modifications or anything like that, um, yeah, start with a Google search, right?
Hmm.
You can go on the Whole Person Network. You can start with some of the places that we said, but also just really dive in there because there are a lot of local organizations that will help
Hmm.
that maybe don't even have websites. A lot of churches have different organizations and different funds that they can pull from to help their members.
Hmm.
So, just talk to people. If I know it can be embarrassing, Cody, when you have to go for a grant for something or you need something. And it can be very frustrating when you need something to be able to walk and be completely independent and you can't get there because of money.
Yeah.
And we don't want anybody to be in that situation.
No.
There is funding available.
Hmm.
We just need to keep looking for it and need to keep trying for it. Sometimes there's a lot of paperwork, which can be frustrating as well. It may not be immediate, but when you open yourself up to it and let people know that you're looking for these resources, that's when help really comes in. So I just wanted to take a moment to kind of tell people it's okay to need help. I
Hmm.
think as a society, we tend to try to keep our needs internal because we view them as weakness, and it's not. If you need assistance, financial assistance with something, you need help with the ramp, you need help with, a device, anything like that. If you're open about it and talk to people about it and talk to people in the industry, talk to your friends, talk to your church, talk to your employer, talk to local civic groups. I know
Hmm.
Lions Club, they really focus on glasses and hearing aids. I do know that Lions Club will also do wheelchairs.
Oh
So
yeah.
that's another one. So the more you talk about it, the more you let people know that you're looking for options.
Hmm.
That's when those will really start rolling in. So please don't
Yes.
feel ashamed about it.
And if you're struggling with your secondary insurance and you're working, the vocational rehabs will also come alongside and cover that in some areas. They do in Texas. Um, they will cover your deductible and copay, etc.
Very good to
So
know. And again, you've got to be honest and you have to be open about it. You have to
yes,
say,
you have to.
I don't think I can do this. That people can't help you unless they know. That's the
Right.
one lesson that I'm learning, right? I mean, it's like, well, obviously people aren't going to help if they don't know that you need assistance. So,
Yeah. For so long, people just suffered so much because there wasn't assistance,
right.
right? And so, like, there was a lot of stigma placed on people with disabilities. There was just like this, and I mean, when you don't have assistance and there's no possible way to get out of the situation that you're in. There's no leg up, as it were. And I hate to use that pun, but honestly, there wasn't any way to get out of it. People definitely feared and looked down upon having a disability in any way, right? But that's not the case anymore. Our society has changed, it's grown, evolved, if you will, to um, say, okay, there is a need for a safety net for people, right? And in various ways. And so, we can see compassion in our government agencies, and there's not this, put those people in the almshouse and don't look at them anymore,
Right.
right? We're out and about in the community. People see that we have something to provide to make society better, right? We're contributing citizens, right? So, they've allowed for so many more human rights to be available to the disabled population. um, the other thing I wanted to say was, I'm losing my train of thought, and I shouldn't do that on a recording, right? But I
That's all
did.
right.
No, yeah. You know, we so often, we think that this is for somebody else. This is for us.
Very good point. Yes, I see so many people who don't want to go for a grant that they need because, well, somebody could need it more. You're not taking it away from somebody else. That, you know, if you keep looking and you go for things, if you qualify, then it's for you.
Yes.
It's, you know, it may be for somebody else as well, but that doesn't negate that it's still for you.
Hmm.
So please, I think that goes back to the shame and the stigma of having to ask for help.
Hmm.
That you know, if you find something that you qualify for, that you you need, then go for it.
Amen.
That's my advice. That's my advice.
Yeah, and if you don't use it, somebody else will.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
because there's no shame in getting this grant, device, whatever it is. There are people out there who want to help. They are
Exactly.
they are out trying to give this stuff away, or give the funds needed to get these people, us, anybody who is living with this, um, funded and brought up to a level of function like everyone else, you know.
Exactly.
So yeah,
Exactly. And go ahead and ask for the help
yeah.
and apply.
GoFundMe. That's another. If you, I mean,
It is. I
a lot of
mean,
people think it's overused. This is what it's for.
exactly. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Some people do abuse the systems, the GoFundMe, the government agencies. They use and abuse it when they don't necessarily need it. We are the people who need those things, and
Right.
that's what they're really there for. I have my opinions about all of that, and I won't get on a soapbox about it today. But um, that being said, you deserve these things. You deserve to have the funding and the devices and the resources made available to you to allow you to live at a level of function like everybody else in the world.
Exactly. And again, you just have to keep looking for them and talk
Hmm.
to your processes. I don't think we mentioned that.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to talk about funding options and have a dialogue, say,
Yeah.
I know that I need a new device. I know that I need these supplies. I don't have the co-insurance. I don't have the co-payment. I can't meet my deductible. Whatever is your issue, have that conversation with your prosthetist. Have that conversation with the billing specialist
Hmm.
at your office and call your insurance company. You can call your insurance company and start a dialogue. Talk
Hmm.
to them about it. Say, you
Hmm.
know, I know that this wouldn't be covered. What do I need to do to get it covered?
Hmm.
What can I do? How can you work with me? I know Blue Cross and Blue Shield does have different grant pools that they can pull from for their
Hmm.
members. So if
Yep.
they need a device and you don't have your copayment, your health insurance might still be able to help you. They might be able to go into that bank of money and transfer it to be able to help you out with that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, start there. Start with your insurance company, start with your prosthetist, start with your doctor, start with your minister, your priest, or you
Hmm.
know, whoever you hold in high regard. Start having that conversation.
Social workers, if you go to the Social Security office, they can help you figure these things out too. Um, you know, all kinds of things. So again,
And
vocational rehab counselors, they can help
it,
you in a
it all
lot of
starts
ways.
it all starts with that sentence, I need help. I need
Hmm.
assistance.
Hmm. Yep.
So once you
And
do
and
that, it'll all open up.
and do your own research too, because you may very well find some hidden gem of a resource that your prosthetists and all these other people aren't aware of and hasn't been advertised very well. But it's out
Absolutely.
there. Like I've been discovering things all the time, and I've been in this field for 20 years. So, I
And
mean,
then let us know and we'll let other people
exactly.
know about it. So that's how
Yes.
these things grow. And that's how, as a community, we all strengthen and we help each other grow. And we're empowered through that.
Yeah. Through whole person.
I
Get
like
on
that
there and
plug.
tell everybody. Do that. That'd be great. Because
So,
so many people will learn and grow from you, and there's more benefit to uh, sharing than you can even imagine. You could
For
change someone's
everybody
life.
involved.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you could change a lot of people's lives by helping
Including
out in
your
that
own.
way and sharing. Yep. Yep. Absolutely.
So,
So
Challenged Athletes Grant, it's September. It's live now. If you're looking for the blade, you can go ahead and do a blade grant throughout the year. If you're looking for something specific for sporting needs, challenged athletes now. If you're looking for prosthesis, a grant for a regular prosthetic device, those are rolling throughout the year through lots of different organizations if you need your everyday devices. So,
Yep.
and you can reach out to us as well. We'll try to help as much as we can.
We're here for you.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Peggy.
Great talking to you today. Have a great month.
You too.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.